All right, so we got Faith Jones, man. So just won the 50K, like Tommy said, and couldn't have picked a better person. You know what I mean? I'm glad it was you. But we want to know, I mean, how did you get started in the business? This would have never happened if you didn't get started in the beginning. So how did you get started into our business?
Well, are you gonna hold this?
I'll hold it for you.
Oh, okay. Okay, so one of my this is like kind of, can I hold it?
Oh,
It's a little awkward. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. But no, one of my best friends, Mr. Raik Hussein, is the sole reason why I'm here. I mean, me and him and Marvin have been very close ever since high school, and Raik and I went to college, and then like many of us, COVID happened, and at the time I had moved home, and I was honestly really salty that I didn't get to graduate. Like I was really pissed off and just like mad at the world, like a lot of people. But then I remember in that summer, I didn't really have much going on. I would get Snapchats from Raik every once in a while saying, yep, I just made 2 bands, or, just made a band in an hour. And then eventually, because I know Raik, I'm like, what are you doing? And then he finally told me what he was up to. And what really sold me is when Marvin, was like, he told me he quit his job at this restaurant that he worked at for years. And I knew he loved that job. And so when Marvin decided to switch over, I was like, okay, I'm in. What do I have to lose? So I honestly like came in with like no expectations. I was just like, I have nothing better to do. I'll just take this course and we'll see where it goes. So I can definitely like, reason why I'm here is because of my good friend Raik, for sure.
Love it. Do you still feel salty for not graduating?
It took me a while to get over it, but I did finally get over it. And they actually had a graduation, like for an in-person one. But I went to school in San Diego, and it was right when convention was going on. And I chose convention. I was like, I'm not going to take that much time away from this. And eventually, I got over it. Yeah, I'm not salty anymore.
All right, for sure. Very good. Now, what you had mentioned that I think the verbiage you used was 2 bands. He kept sending you 2 bands, videos and stuff like that on Snapchat. What attracted you though initially and throughout?
It's a really good question. I will say, like, one of the things I remember from the overview that immediately caught my attention, because I was really into like nonprofit work, social work when I was in school, was in the overview, Tommy talks about how much our company gave back to the community. And that was something that I was really interested in, is working with, whether or not I was used to working with homeless children, whatever it was, or this working with like hardworking, Union America. And so that's kind of really what got me into this. And also, the residuals, where else can you find? I didn't even, we always hear that phrase, make money while you sleep, but that was never a reality for me until here, which I think a lot of people can probably relate to, because I don't know about you guys, but I never was brought anything like this before, where you would be able to actually make money while you sleep without being inherited it or anything like that. So that's really what caught me.
Yeah, absolutely. We're blessed. Now, how do you think this has changed your life, since you've been starting here?
Well, I think I'm a completely different person, to be honest. I know I have 3 older siblings, and my oldest sister, we've always been really close. And, I think it was when I got my 1 year mark, she messaged me and she was like, wow, I can't believe you've only been there for a year, because you've aged and like grown up probably like 3 to 5 years since you started there. And so I think that obviously, like my whole life, like money made every single decision I made, whether I got a small or large, this thing on the menu, everything. And I got here and I don't even I probably should. I don't really look at price tags anymore. And the fact that like last Thanksgiving, I bought the whole Thanksgiving dinner for the family. So not only has that changed everything, but also just like the way that I hold myself as a person and like my self-worth, like even just walking into a store, like what I expect, like I feel like a real adult. Whereas before, I don't think people really took me that seriously. But now I walk in somewhere and I'm like, no, I have money to pay you. So you should pay attention to me, like that might sound really conceited, but it's the truth, like, so I think that's, and also like in my personal life and with my friends, like they all see what we're doing here. and they all like really appreciate it, you know, and I get a lot of love because there's always haters, of course, but I got a lot of lovers too. They're like, I'm glad to see like you're doing well where you're at, you're succeeding. Everyone always says, I don't really know what you do, but it make you look like you have a lot of fun while you do it. I'm like, yes, I do. So it's completely changed my life. Honestly, I can't really actually just like something like that I thought about a lot recently is like one of my friends, she's like 26, just got out of student teaching. And she's like, I have no idea what I want to do with my life. And I feel like that's how a lot of my friends are, whether or not they're my age or a couple years older, a couple years younger. Everybody has this problem where whether or not you went to school, what am I supposed to do? Where do I go? Where do I fit in? And I just feel very, very like blessed doesn't even like sum up how I feel that like I literally graduated and then I got into this right away. Cause I know that I'd be that person sitting there for years wondering what I'm supposed to do. But for, like, luckily, this gives me a lot of purpose, you know, beyond the money and everything like that. And also being in leadership, it's definitely one of the most rewarding things I've ever experienced. So it's changed everything, to put it in short.
Wow, well said. Well said, Faith. What do you like, best about the opportunity to elaborate on everything you just said? You said everything perfectly. Very blessed to be here. What do you think, if you had to pick one thing, what is your favorite thing about the opportunity?
One of my favorite things is that, you know, we always like we do work a lot. You know what I mean? We have long hours and everything. And I never really cared much for people that thought anything about that. You know, I'm like, I'm going to choose what I do with my time. And if you have a problem with that, that's fine with me. You know, maybe you're not the right person to be in my life. But I think one of my favorite parts is that I know for a fact I wouldn't be able to be here 12 hours a day or longer if I didn't have fun and with like the relationships that we've had with people. So that is like the best part for me is developing those personal relationships. And then the best feeling in the world is when you train somebody and you see them popping off too. I mean, nothing relates. No week of mine, month of mine, any paycheck can sum up to the amount of how happy and like you feel when you see somebody doing well, succeeding, reaching their goals, and you help them get there. So that's my favorite part.
Amen. That's amazing. That's amazing. Amen to everything you just said. And super proud of you. I think one last question we just have to ask specifically for Faith. Everybody wants to know, what are you going to do with this 50,000?
Yeah, that's a valid question. Honestly, this is like I'm still in shock and I don't really know. I know like money changes people, and I've already had people like hit me up, you know, thinking I'm gonna be a whole different person. And honestly, I don't really plan on spending any crazy amount of money than I already do. I already think I've money. So I know that I'm going to definitely get a new car. I'm gonna I think, you know, move my mom. She wants to move to California. So that's really
Mike's messed up.
there. And after that, oh, are we done? Or
It's good.
can you still hear me? But yeah, basically a car, move mom to California. And then I need to find something to invest it into. And obviously like here, recruiting, the business, the team. But other than that, I don't know. I think that it's a little bit more money than I know how to handle. So I honestly think I'm going to try and set it aside. Like I'll spend it a little bit, except for the most part, like I'm going to figure out, I don't know what I want to do yet. I mean, it's a lot of like, I think I'm going to, a lot of it's going to sit there for a little bit until I figure out like strategically, how is this, like, how can I double this? Like, that's kind of how I'm thinking, like, how can I double this money? So, yeah.
Well, hey, you have the proper mindset with it. We're excited. I know no matter what you do with the 50,000, God wouldn't have gifted you with a lot if you weren't going to give a lot as well. We're super proud of you. We're excited. That 50,000 definitely didn't change her for a second. She hit me up on Sunday, contacted me and said, "Hey, you're at the office Sunday, trying to do an in-person." Someone was coming to the office to get insurance, someone that she met at a gas station, I believe, who ended up being a Teamster. So, the 50 grand or not, she's still acting like she's at zero, making it happen. We're super proud of you. Can't wait. 2022 is going to be your best year. You're a huge value to the team. And let's give it up for Faith Jones.